$934. Antiwar.com reports the Iraqi military offensive against Iraqi Kurdistan has been on pause since Friday, but may soon be resuming, according to Iraqi Joint Operations Command, which are accusing the Kurds of using the ceasefire talks to buy time. Iraqi officials say the Kurds are in particular delaying the transfer of control of border crossings between Iraqi Kurdistan and Iran, Syria, and Turkey. Iraq ordered all crossings closed and all flights banned out of Kurdish airports. They believe the Kurds are trying to hold off on any more concessions while keeping the talks going to give the Peshmerga time to set up new defenses, and some Iraqi officials seem keen to just resume the offensive and take more territory. This perhaps should be unsurprising, as Iraqi Prime Minister Haider Abadi has indicated his government intends to revoke all the Kurdish government's autonomy to punish them for having a referendum supporting independence, and the Kurds don't seem to be getting anything back in this exchange. Though the Peshmerga has not appeared effective in resisting Iraq's military, there's no reason for the Kurds to be in a rush to accept what amounts to an absolute surrender while talks are still ongoing. For over 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Hilton Worldwide Incorporated has reached a $700,000 settlement with the states of New York and Vermont over two separate data breaches 2 years ago that exposed more than 360,000 credit card numbers. The attorneys general in the states announced on Tuesday the culmination of the investigation that found that Hilton did not notify customers in a timely manner and failed to maintain reasonable data security. The state of New York will receive $400,000 in the settlement, and the state of Vermont $300,000. New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman said in a statement, "Businesses have a duty to notify consumers in the event of a breach and protect their personal information as securely as possible. Lax security practices like those we uncovered at Hilton put New Yorkers' credit card information and other personal data at serious risk. My office will continue to hold businesses accountable for protecting their customers' personal information." According to New York state law, the disclosure must be made in the most expedient time possible and without unreasonable delay. Vermont law requires preliminary notice to the Attorney General within 14 days of discovering a breach. Virginia-headquartered Hilton has 14 brands comprising more than 4,900 properties with more than 796,000 rooms in 104 countries and territories. In the first breach, Hilton learned on February 15, 2015 from a computer services provider that its system in Great Britain was communicating with a suspicious computer outside Hilton's computer network. In a forensic investigation, it revealed credit card targeting malware potentially exposed cardholder data between November 18th and December 5th, 2014. In the second incident, Hilton discovered on July 10th, 2015, a breach through an intrusion system. In that incident, the investigation found payment card data was potentially exposed between April 21st, 2015 and July 27th, 2015, and the attackers rounded up 363,952 credit card numbers for removal. But Hilton did not provide notice until November 24th, 2015. Hilton said there was no evidence attackers removed cardholder data, but the forensic investigator was not able to review all relevant logs. It added that intruders used anti-forensic tools. In the agreement, Hilton has agreed to provide notice to affected cardholders in the two states and to design and maintain a comprehensive information security program to protect consumer cardholder data. The company issued a statement saying, "Hilton is strongly committed to protecting our customers' payment information and maintaining the integrity of our systems." You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A report confirms that many Iraqis are still holding a petty grudge about the U.S. invasion. An advanced alien civilization discovers an uninhabitable planet, and a single woman has a Facebook profile picture with her sister. This is the Onion Week in Review. A groundbreaking study published Monday in the Journal of the American Medical Association confirmed that it is impossible to lose weight. No one has ever done it, and those who are trying should give up immediately. Researchers said that findings conclusively prove that shedding excess weight has never happened, changing your physical appearance is impossible, and that all sorts of exercises, personal training regimens, and diets will never, ever work.
Well, our test results conclusively prove that if you're going to the gym to lose weight, you will fail. You could work out every day and eat nothing, and you still wouldn't lose an ounce. Skinny people will stay skinny. Overweight people will be overweight. That's just how it is.
In other news, an area man is outraged. His private information is being collected by someone other than advertisers. And a crowd cheers as this 93-year-old fuck-up finally graduates from college.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in line here momentarily where you can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And wanted to start the show with an update about Alex Wubbels.
Wubbles?
Woobles?
Wubbles.
Wubbles?
I've only seen it written and then pronounced by other people on this show, and everybody pronounces it slightly differently.
I remember the name.
She's the nurse from
thank
Salt
you.
Lake City.
Yeah, I remember the last time we talked about it. It was that day that I found the article that the guy died that was involved in the
The
accident.
guy being the
Patient.
whose blood Nurse Wubbels, I'll just call her Nurse Alex since we don't know exactly how to pronounce the last name. So Nurse Alex was
But you don't call Bubbles
protecting.
Boobles.
See,
But
that didn't
it's
get
spelled
bleeped.
completely different.
Boobles.
Spelled completely different because the L comes before the E in Bubbles. But anyway, Nurse Alex was protecting this man's rights by preventing the police from taking his blood in violation of hospital policy. She was then assaulted and arrested. Charges against her were dropped, and then it was, a couple of months after all of this happened when the cell phone video, the body cam video came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
And
a while.
then the police chief and the union guy were like, this video should not have come out, and something, the rights of our officers,
interfered
blah, blah,
with an
blah.
investigation and all
Right.
this other stuff.
The officer was subsequently, after much controversy, arrested. Officer Payne was his name. He was fired by the Salt Lake City Police Department. But the update here is that Nurse Alex has come to an agreement with the Salt Lake City Police Department in which she has been awarded $500,000. Nurse Alex says she plans to use a part of the settlement to advocate for wider access to police body camera footage to the public. She said, "I'm not in the business of setting anyone up for failure. I want us to be successful in moving forward, and I think this is a small step we can provide to enable the potential success if we're going to start asking the police departments to have body cameras." Cara Porter, the attorney for Nurse Alex, said her firm will help with the nurse's goal. Any person in the state of Utah who wishes to obtain body camera footage of an incident involving them will be able to do so. No charge to them, Porter told Fox 13. Thanks to Alex, there will be more transparency. Nurse Alex did not file a lawsuit prior to the settlement. A spokesman for St. Louis Mayor Jackie Biskupski said the settlement was a voluntary move by city officials. Oh, and I'm sure it was because, they were getting a lot of bad publicity because of what one of their officers did.
Well, not only that, one of the key parts of that story to me was the fact that it was a long time before the cell phone video came out.
Yes.
And during that entire period, There was no disciplinary measures taken against the officer. There was
Nor
nothing.
any investigation.
No,
That there was not
just
an
nothing.
investigation until the video was
Went
released
back,
to the
yeah.
public.
Yeah, and that's just wrong. Anybody who saw that video agreed that it was egregious.
Right.
I talked to friends of mine in law enforcement who were like, that just wasn't right. I mean, that was horrible. And that was the reaction by, I never saw anybody argue that. You know, nobody defended these guys.
Right. And of the $500,000 going to Nurse Alex, how much of it do you think is coming out of the pocket of former Detective Jeff Payne?
Well, I assume he paid taxes, so probably a couple bucks.
Right, but
I never
everybody in
understood
St.
that.
Louis.
Why don't they
Yeah, that's the
sue
point.
these people for like their pensions and
Not allowed.
like then they should be able to find the state pays her $500,000, but then revoke his pension.
Not allowed.
Why?
Because immunities.
Let's fix that. Let's pass whatever law, repeal whatever law we got to do in order to fix the problem.
And there have been proposed things, not to this extent, but there have been things proposed in New Hampshire specifically that I know of that would remove some of the various immunities. And you wind up having all of the chiefs of police show up, the chiefs of police association, the various unions show up and say, if you pass this, no one will ever become a police officer because they need all of these immunities. If they are held personally liable, then nobody will ever do the job of police officer.
Society will fall apart. I've heard that so many times.
That's their defense?
That's
Yes.
always their defense. And
That's why we need all of these immunities. They have statutory immunity, which is things that the legislature passes saying you as a police officer, fireman, EMT, fill in the blank government official, you have this immunity. And then there is qualified immunity that just exists because it exists. And then there's another one that I forget the name of that exists because, well, courts have wound up, based on court law and court precedent, you have these extras. So there are at least 3 different types of immunity that all of these government officials have. So even if you remove the statutory immunities, there's still 2 other types of immunity and nothing really changes.
But yeah, I agree with Heather, though. I mean, the one way of attacking this issue.
I agree. It should happen.
Right.
I'm just saying that
it's not as easy
not
as just change one law.
Right.
And I recognize your point on that. It's a shame because people should be held accountable for their actions. And when somebody screws up, the burden of that shouldn't fall on everybody else, which is what our system is today.
Right. And Chris, you have a somewhat related, even though not directly related, article about a former Marine.
No, current Marine general.
Well, after this court ruling, I don't know how current he's going to be. Judge from Guantanamo.
Yeah.
Sentenced a Marine lawyer to, some jail time here?
Well, he's going to be confined for at least 21 days for disobeying orders. And this story comes to us from the Miami Herald. Guantanamo Bay Navy Base, Cuba, the USS Cole case judge Wednesday found that the Marine general in charge of the war court defense teams guilty of contempt for refusing to follow the judge's orders and sentenced him to 21 days confinement and to pay a $1,000 fine.
So what's this case stem from? Because this is... I remember there was something with the USS Cole, what was it, like a decade ago where it got bombed?
Pretty
is
close
that
to
what
it.
This is?
Yeah, a small ship moved up close to the USS Cole, somewhere in the Middle East.
Off the coast of Yemen, I believe.
Yeah, Yemen or one of the countries over there. Detonated, killed some sailors, did some damage, and this is the trial of the people that they say plotted this whole thing.
17 years ago, just pulled up, the USS Cole bombing was a terrorist attack off the coast of Aden, Yemen, that occurred on October 12th, 2000. So again, this was 17 years ago, and just now,
right, making it to trial,
making its way all the way through the courts.
Yeah, this was pre 9/11. This was before 9/11. Air Force Colonel Vance Spath also declared null and void a decision by Marine Brigadier General John Baker, 50, to release 3 civilian defense attorneys from the Capitol terrorist case. The lawyers resigned last month over a covert breach of attorney-client privilege involving something so secretive at the terror prison that the public cannot know.
We'll get into this more, plus your calls and thoughts. Welcome, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So what do you think is going to wind up happening with Detective Payne? Will he ever wind up going to court in 17 years? This is Free Talk Live.
Don't do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynovite is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynovite...
No.
When I get to about 3/4...
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynovite, oh no, I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dynovite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try. Dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm. Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. You're listening to the best Liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And we're talking about the Marine Brigadier General John Baker, who apparently has been sentenced to 21 days of confinement and ordered to pay a $1,000 fine. Not sure if he's going to serve his time in Guantanamo, but I can guarantee wherever he is serving his time, he's not going to have a very comfortable pillow. Now, speaking of comfortable pillows, Chris, you have one.
I do.
I have one, but do you have one? Well, you can get the most comfortable pillow you will ever use and try it risk-free for 60 days.
My birthday's coming up.
Talking about My Pillow.
Is that what
it's
you want?
designed to fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position. I've been using it for quite a while, coming up on 2 years, I think. And yeah, I can say it's the best pillow I've ever used. And unlike a regular pillow, once this winds up collecting some of your dead skin and dirt over the years, you can actually throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer, and it's still usable. Go to MyPillow.com. Use code FTL to get your very own MyPillow at half price, or get a second pillow free of charge. And remember, if you don't like it for some reason in the first 60 days, you get your money back. And the pillow itself, guaranteed to last 10 years. That's MyPillow.com, code FTL. We'll get back into the story here in just a second, but first, to the phones. We've got Christian calling in from Indiana. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hello?
Yep, you're on the air. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I heard something about 9/11 and the topic you're talking about. I heard that it was I didn't quite understand it.
Sure. What we were discussing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were discussing the bombing of the USS Cole, which happened off the coast of Yemen in 2000 before 9/11. So this was
nearly a full year. Was 11 months basically to the day prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, bombing these days. Golly, I just hate how people are doing that these days. I mean, it was such a nice town back in 19-something, but today it's just hell now.
What is?
Bombing.
Yeah, which one are you referring to?
Every single bombing there ever
Just
was.
in general, you're war weary.
I would agree.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a crank call of some sort. Definitely had that crank call vibe to it. Let's get back into the article here, Chris. Again, this from the Miami Herald about Marine Brigadier General John Baker, sentenced to 21 days confinement and ordered to pay a $1,000 fine. And what were the charges against him? Contempt for refusing to follow a judge's order. But what was the judge's order?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
But basically, what the other thing that that he was the Air Force Colonel Vance Spath, who also declared his decision null and void, and he was attempting to release 3 civilian defense attorneys from the Capitol terrorism case. So what this really means...
I want to make sure I'm following here. The Air Force Colonel was the judge in this case?
The Air Force Colonel was above the Marine General. So the Marine General was in charge. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. He was the judge.
Okay.
And he declared that this decision that Brigadier General John Baker had made null and void, which was to release 3 civilian defense attorneys. Now, why? The story will get into this, but why do we have civilian defense attorneys involved in this case? Because it is a capital murder case. People were killed, and they are seeking the death penalty against these guys. Wednesday evening, when Baker confined to his quarters in a trailer park behind the courthouse, George Spath issued another order directing the 3 lawyers, Rick Kamen, Ross Eliades, and Mary Spears, to litigate Friday in the death penalty case against Abdul al-Rahim al-Nashiri remotely from the Washington, D.C. area by video feed to Guantanamo. Baker is the chief defense counsel for military commissions and the second highest ranking lawyer in the Marine Corps. He had excused Kamen, Eliades, and Spear from the case, citing ethical grounds, and refused to rescind the order, prompting the judge to find him in contempt of court. Baker also invoked a privilege stemming from his oversight role and refusing to obey Spath's order to swear an oath and testify in his court. So he's feeling pretty strongly about this. The judge's dizzying pace of events, sentencing the Marine general in a 35-minute hearing, then ordering 3 civilian lawyers to defend the Saudi in his capital case by video link, came as the colonel sought to force the civilian Pentagon-paid attorneys back on the case.
Now, here's a question, and this, definitely is not something that's answered so far. Did the civilian attorneys want to be back on the case?
It seems like no, and there were some concerns that they had regarding this. They weren't just being fired for the sake of being fired. Spath, who had declared they had no good cause to quit, had ordered Kamen, Eliades, and Spears to come to Guantanamo on Sunday with other war court staff for a pretrial hearing. They refused. Kamen, a veteran capital defense attorney who has represented Nashiri for a decade, said Spath's order to travel was an, quote, illegal effort to have 3 U.S. citizens provide unethical legal services to keep the facade of justice that is the military commissions running.
So the military commissions, I did a little bit of reading here. These were things created in like 05, 06 as some kind of way to wind up not giving all the rights, if you will, to people that are charged with certain acts of terrorism, specifically those connected with 9/11.
Right.
And again, as you mentioned, the attack on the USS Cole happened nearly a full year prior to, but, who in the federal government lets intent of laws wind up actually dictating how they get carried out?
Yeah, and I felt this way when I heard about these things coming about. It seemed to me as one of those ways that the U.S. could stand up and say, look, we're providing everyone charged. This is how great the United States is, with a fair trial. We're setting up this special court system. Well, if that were the case, then why not try them under U.S. law with all the rights of a U.S. citizen? They didn't do that. They made it a point to come up with this new form of, trial so that they didn't have to follow the letter of the law when it comes to the 4th, 5th, the 6th Amendment. You know what I mean?
Right to face your accuser, right to actually present a defense.
Right.
We can look at the trial of Private Manning and see that even though he is a U.S. citizen, during her trial, was not awarded all of the rights, couldn't present a defense, could not tell the jury, here's why I did this.
Right. And that's military. When you're under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, things are different, and you know that going in.
Right, and they're trying to prosecute citizens under this weird military system thing. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size for incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency. get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Frustrated trying to get business capital? Want to take the slow process and rejection out of the equation? GCNLoans.com removes the slow, irritating approval process. Instead, get quick, simple funding. Powered by David Allen Capital, 80% of our pre-qualified clients are approved in days. Pre-qualify at GCNLoans.com and get your money this week. It's that easy. GCNLoans.com. That's GCNLoans.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is the toll-free call-in line where you can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. Or maybe you don't want to call in, but you still want to interact with other people that are listening or watching the show. Yeah, that's right. You can watch the show on YouTube. Go to youtube.freetalklive.com, and YouTube has that built-in chat room where you can interact with other listeners. youtube.freetalklive.com. Talking about the Brigadier General from the Marines, John Baker, who might soon be a former Brigadier General, not really sure, but apparently he wound up dismissing 3 civilian defense attorneys, and it seems as though the attorneys wanted to be dismissed.
Yep.
There was another judge, Air Force Colonel Vance Spath, who declared the decision to release the civilian attorneys to be null and void, and then wound up telling Brigadier General John Baker, you now go to jail for 21 days and pay a $1,000 fine.
Yep. And one of the attorneys said, Spath's order to travel was a, quote, illegal effort to have 3 U.S. citizens, quote, provide unethical legal services to keep the facade of justice that is the military commissions running. Unquote.
Right. And we'll get back into this, but first to the phones, actually to the Skypes, where we've got Stefan calling in from Ohio. Stefan, you're on Free Talk Live with Daryl, Heather, and Chris. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I'd like to speak of the recent truck attack in New York City and some of the responses I've noticed from it.
Sure.
And in a bit of a different response from the president. Now, I'll put this out front that I don't agree with either of these positions, but you'll notice that after a giant shooting in Las Vegas, it was too soon to speak about any type of legislation, whether good or bad, for guns. They wouldn't even open up that conversation. But within hours of this guy plowing into a crowd of people in Manhattan, it's not too soon to politicize the issue, and I am confused as to why that is.
You mean like it wasn't too soon for the president to politicize it, or are you speaking just
it wasn't too
people
soon
in
to
general?
It wasn't too soon, the president, it wasn't too soon for him or his people to start talking about immigration reform. But after a giant shooting, it's always too soon to talk about gun reform. I mean,
Can someone refresh my memory as to this whole truck thing? Anyway, it's been all over my newsfeed, but honestly, I haven't even had time to click and read the story, so I'm still a little in the dark as to what exactly happened.
Some guy from Uzbekistan came over and rented a truck from the Home Depot, I believe.
Now, hold on. So it's not he came over. He had been here for several years. So it's not like he just flew over, got off the plane, went down and rented a truck.
Yeah, he laid low in Ohio for a while, from what I heard.
Okay, and then he just got into a truck and ran into people?
Well, and he also got at least stopped in Mount Holly Springs, Pennsylvania, where I used to live.
Now, He also, from what I understand, he was driving down like a walking path of some sort.
A bike path.
Yeah. Now, I travel on the bike trails that we have here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire quite frequently. And one thing that they have that prevents people from driving their vehicles down the bike paths are pylons that basically block off. So You can walk around, you can ride a bike around, but you can't drive a vehicle around.
Sounds like a waste of money to me, but okay.
But if the point is to prevent people from driving, motorized vehicles on it,
yep,
it's going to
it's effective.
It's going to be effective.
It's a bollard. I think that's what those are usually called.
But what do you make of the fact that the president is having a completely different response to this terrorism as opposed to the terrorism that was seen last month?
Because it's political. It
fits his agenda.
Yeah, it's politicization of events to benefit where he wants to take the conversation.
And he's been trying to prevent all kinds of immigration since before he wound up getting elected. So, again, it fits his agenda.
Now, to be fair, there have been a lot of presidents who have done the exact same thing. If you look at Barack Obama is almost a 180 from this, right? Mm-hmm. So anytime there was a shooting, immediately it was a call for gun control and we need to get these guns off the streets. Yet when we had cases of radical Islamic terrorism, then, we really have to take our time and we need to make sure that this bad person doesn't do anything or was truly responsible and there's no indication of terrorism. You know what I mean, Stefan?
Yeah, and, that this is something that I notice a lot of people in the quote-unquote libertarian community are divided on. Like some would say it is a reasonable thing to fear others coming into the country and wreaking havoc and that we have to protect our sovereignty. Whereas the other camp says it's worth the risk. And what I notice is a lot of the people who have the opinion of it's worth the risk doesn't even consider that these people might have a legitimate fear of foreign invaders.
Yeah, I think times are what they are, and there have been around the globe a large number of terrorist attacks. And I call them what they are. I'm sorry if people get offended by that. But people are trying to promote a particular political point of view through violence, and that to me is terrorism.
That is the textbook definition of terrorism. Now, to sort of a broader point, if you look at the actual crime statistics of where do people that commit crimes come from, you'd see that people that were born and raised in the United States commit violent crimes at higher rates than people that immigrate to the United States from elsewhere. So, if you're trying to be, and I'm not saying that you're necessarily falling in this camp, Stefan, but most libertarians try to say they promote individualism, but yet they will use collectivism when it suits them.
When it's convenient.
So, I think people need to be a little more consistent in what they're actually supporting. So if you're supporting treat everybody as an individual, then you can't in the same breath then turn to collectivism.
Well, I guess you would use the term voluntary collectivism for me. Nothing coercive, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm like that
go
too.
ahead. Yeah, I don't. We keep talking over each other. I don't see a real issue with being careful. If you're going to have a state, unfortunately, borders are a function of states. If you don't have a state, you don't need any borders, right? But if you're going to have that, then I understand why they would want to check who's coming in. That's the first thing. The second thing is I believe mostly caused by our own foreign policy. But there is no doubt in my mind that there are lots and lots of people all over the world that would like to come to America and kill Americans.
Well, do you see
right, and I think that's largely, as you mentioned, due to the American foreign policy, where Americans like to go around the world and kill people from other countries.
That doesn't change the fact that people do want to come here and kill us. So I can also look at it as sort of a self-defense mechanism. Yeah, maybe we should be a little bit careful about people that are coming in from specific areas that are known to have high populations of people that would like to kill Americans. I get that argument.
But there are a lot of people in America that go out and shoot other Americans too. I mean, not too far from me. This isn't the incident that just happened in Colorado. There was a Walmart that got shot up like 20 or 30 minutes from me just recently.
I read about that.
Actually. Yeah. Well,
there's
it's
crazy
all too
people.
common. It's all too common. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you for the call, Stefan. And, as with any kind of, horrible, violent act where, somebody takes a lot of life, the real motive behind it is people don't actually value human life.
Sure.
And, you need to somehow fix that underlying cause to get people to actually value people before trying to figure out, well, let's keep them from using this tool or that tool or this weapon. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Plus more on the story here about the Marine Corps Brigadier General.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching, I would recommend Dynovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use
Dynovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
Well, our own Rebecca Mara takes us on a tour of the Olympic Village.
We have a full-size bed, lounge area, showers, plenty of space, which is great because I'm constantly having sex in there.
The Village is a temporary home to the world's most physically impressive athletic men and women. It was important to the Olympic Committee to give them a comfortable, state-of-the-art area to each other's brains out while they're not competing.
We have a pool where they can have a sex, a theater where they can have a sex. All these athletes are hot, horny, ready to go. They deserve the best.
I was in Vancouver where I got eaten out by this French speed skater. I have to say, these facilities are even better, and I'm going to try to a Japanese guy.
You've spared no expense.
These athletes deserve the best. They sacrifice so much for their countries. They deserve to be able to until their and can't take it anymore.
And these facilities won't go to waste. Once the Olympics are over, they'll be converted to a resort where Russian businessmen can come to their prostitutes.
This is the Onion News Network.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Then consider joining Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private, it is easy, the fees are low, transactions are fast, and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the network. Join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash, so go to dash.org and find out why. It's Daryl, Heather, and Chris, and we're talking about the Brigadier General from the Marine Corps, John Baker, who has been sentenced to 21 days confinement, ordered to pay a $1,000 fine for having allowed 3 civilian defense attorneys. Basically, it seems as though he allowed them to resign.
Right, to quit the case.
Because in the words of one of the attorneys, the judge above the Brigadier General ordered them, his order mandating them to travel to Guantanamo to provide defense for some people through basically a military tribunal was an illegal effort to have 3 U.S. civilians provide unethical legal services to keep the facade of justice that is the military commissions.
Yep.
And, the brigadier general was like, oh, you want to quit? You don't want to defend these people? Okay, you don't have to defend these people.
Right.
And higher judge than he said, yeah, you can't do that. 3 civilian defense attorneys, you are required to go provide defense services for these civilians from another country who have been charged through a military commission.
Yep. They had no good cause to quit, is what the judge is saying. And this is all about the trial of, trying to find his name, Nashiri, who is accused of orchestrating Al-Qaeda's October 12th, 2000 suicide.
Abd al-Rahim al-Nashiri.
There we go. You could find it in the story before I
Al-Qaeda's
could.
pretty much done now, right? I mean, they've just fizzled out and turned into ISIL and ISIS. And
Well,
no.
They're still there.
They're fighting against ISIS and ISIL and, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so
are we funding them or are we funding? I know we're funding ISIS. Do we also fund Al-Qaeda
indirectly?
Still? Indirectly fund Al-Qaeda?
No, indirectly funding the Islamic State by, we missed the target of where we were supposed to drop these weapons, and now they're in the hands of ISIS.
Well, there's been that, and there's been some allegations of direct funding, too.
Right. Well, Al-Qaeda has been designated as one of the rebel factions, and the U.S. military is funding rebel factions.
So directly supporting Al-Qaeda.
In Syria,
right?
But not in Afghanistan or Yemen. It's really, really weird and strange, and it has that sort of late 1980s, the enemy of my enemy is my friend vibe to it.
Yeah, if it gets so confusing that you need a whiteboard to figure out who you should be funding and who your enemies are, then you've probably gone too far. I'm going to continue this story. Nashiri is accused of orchestrating Al-Qaeda's October 12, 2000 suicide bombing of the USS warship off Yemen.
That warship being the USS Cole.
Yep. 17 sailors died and dozens more were injured. He has been in U.S. custody for 15 years and was arraigned in 2011. No trial date has been set, in part because the sides were still haggling over what top-secret evidence the defense can see as it prepares for trial.
So let me rephrase this for anybody that's playing the home game and trying to follow along here. You've got the U.S. military that has some top-secret evidence against al-Nashiri, and some of this they're saying, yeah, you're not allowed to actually see the evidence that we have against you because, see, you're just a civilian, and national security requires that we not reveal this to you, which means that you probably aren't able to actually wind up defending yourself against it because you can't actually see the evidence. Because if it's really that much of a national security thing, they're not going to allow it to actually be presented verbally in court.
But again, and these are some of the issues that these lawyers have a problem with, and I understand that. You're telling me I have to defend this guy.
Yes.
And my professional code of conduct, if you're an attorney, requires that you give them, even if you believe them to be guilty, the best possible defense you possibly can.
Right. And part of that
here's the U.S. military saying, yeah, we're not even going to show you the evidence we're going to use against them.
Right, and part of providing that best services possible is you have to request and obtain discovery, and discovery includes all of the evidence against your client. And if you're not allowed to see all of the evidence against your client, how can you defend your client?
What are your thoughts though on it, as far as an attorney goes, and what
if he's being
ethics
charged,
should be? Do you think attorneys should, if you think your client's guilty, still go and try to fight for the defense? Is that
that's the role of the defense attorney in our court system.
And you think that's a good way as a society to handle
ideally,
it?
you'd find an attorney that believed in your innocence, but I'm sure attorneys are human too. You know what I mean?
And they make mistakes, so even their judgment could be wrong.
But ideally, if there's a civilian being charged with a crime, they would go through the civilian courts, not this weird special thing that was created called the military commissions that you may have heard referred to as military tribunals, to where it's not an actual court. You don't have all of the rights that you would have in an actual court. And part of the rights that you have in actual court is you get to see all of the evidence against you.
Right.
Now, in the case of Ross Ulbricht, he got that like 72 hours before his court hearing, and then he wasn't allowed to actually wind up presenting a defense against a bunch of it.
Right.
But at least he still was able to see the evidence.
And to be really clear, because somebody out there listening is going, what the heck is this guy talking about? Nashiri is the major suspect in a bombing that killed 17 sailors. I get that. I suspect that this guy's probably guilty and a bad dude, and he killed Americans. None of that's good. But what my concern is with a story like this is if it can happen, if the government can come up with a whole new court system to apply to specific cases that they want it to apply to, then they can apply that same system to anybody else. If you're seen as an enemy of the state, if you're seen as somebody who they want to take through a court system in this particular way for whatever excuse they can come up with, this can be applied to any American citizen, and that's wrong. And that's why this kind of thing upsets me. It should not happen. We should be so proud of the system that we put in place that we will even apply it to foreigners, where to our rights, we should extend our rights to people of other countries just because it's the right thing to do. But we don't. The story continues.
Yes.
No trial date has been set, in part because the sides were still haggling over what top secret evidence the defense can see as it prepares the trial. Also, Nashiri needs to have a court-ordered MRI to see if he suffered brain damage during his 4 years in secret CIA custody.
Secret custody.
He was waterboarded, kept in a coffin-sized box, and subjected to other cruel punishment detailed in the sentence torture report that came out a couple years ago. In his latest order, Spath threatened the 3 civilian lawyers with a contempt of court finding too. He told them to appear at 8 a.m. Friday at Military Commission's headquarters in Alexandria, Virginia. The Pentagon will provide a link with the top-secret courthouse in Cuba on Friday for a hearing, expected to take testimony from an unnamed witness, and would also set up, quote, secure terminal equipment, unquote, for the accused terrorist Nashiri if they wanted to consult, the order said. Spath issued the order to the 3 civilians more than 6 hours after he sentenced the general to 21 days confinement in his quarters, which happened to be in a trailer behind the war court compound called Camp Justice. On Thursday, a federal judge holds a hearing on whether to halt the war court hearings because Nashiri lacks a learned counsel.
And that Thursday that it's referring to is today. So maybe there's an update, possibly not entirely positive. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, what's going on with Facebook? How do their algorithms control the world?
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days free at BuySellMakeOffer.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, November 2nd, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.10 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,276 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,934. Antiwar.com reports the Iraqi military offensive against Iraqi Kurdistan has been on pause since Friday, but may soon be resuming, according to Iraqi Joint Operations Command, which are accusing the Kurds of using the ceasefire talks to buy time. Iraqi officials say the Kurds are in particular delaying the transfer of control of border crossings between Iraqi Kurdistan and Iran, Syria, and Turkey. Iraq ordered all crossings closed and all flights banned out of Kurdish airports. They believe the Kurds are trying to hold off on any more concessions while keeping the talks going to give the Peshmerga time to set up new defenses, and some Iraqi officials seem keen to just resume the offensive and take more territory. This perhaps should be unsurprising, as Iraqi Prime Minister Haider Abadi has indicated his government intends to revoke all the Kurdish government's autonomy to punish them for having a referendum supporting independence, and the Kurds don't seem to be getting anything back in this exchange. Though the Peshmerga has not appeared effective in resisting Iraq's military, there's no reason for the Kurds to be in a rush to accept what amounts to an absolute surrender while talks are still ongoing. For over 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Hilton Worldwide Incorporated has reached a $700,000 settlement with the states of New York and Vermont over 2 separate data breaches 2 years ago that exposed more than 360,000 credit card numbers. The attorneys general in the states announced on Tuesday the culmination of the investigation that found that Hilton did not notify customers in a timely manner and failed to maintain reasonable data security. The state of New York will receive $400,000 in the settlement, and the state of Vermont $300,000. New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman said in a statement, "Businesses have a duty to notify consumers in the event of a breach and protect their personal information as securely as possible. Lax security practices like those we uncovered at Hilton put New Yorkers' credit card information and other personal data at serious risk. My office will continue to hold businesses accountable for protecting their customers' personal information." According to New York state law, the disclosure must be made in the most expedient time possible and without unreasonable delay. Vermont law requires preliminary notice to the Attorney General within 14 days of discovering a breach. Virginia-headquartered Hilton has 14 brands comprising more than 4,900 properties with more than 796,000 rooms in 104 countries and territories. In the first breach, Hilton learned on February 15, 2015 from a computer services provider that its system in Great Britain was communicating with a suspicious computer outside Hilton's computer network. In a forensic investigation, it revealed credit card targeting malware potentially exposed cardholder data between November 18th and December 5th, 2014. In the second incident, Hilton discovered on July 10th, 2015, a breach through an intrusion system. In that incident, the investigation found payment card data was potentially exposed between April 21st, 2015 and July 27th, 2015, and the attackers rounded up 363,952 credit card numbers for removal. But Hilton did not provide notice until November 24th, 2015. Hilton said there was no evidence attackers removed cardholder data, but the forensic investigator was not able to review all relevant logs. It added that intruders used anti-forensic tools. In the agreement, Hilton has agreed to provide notice to affected cardholders in the two states and to design and maintain a comprehensive information security program to protect consumer cardholder data. The company issued a statement saying, Hilton is strongly committed to protecting our customers' payment information and maintaining the integrity of our systems. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
I'm getting joined by Ellie Granderson. She's going to put a feminine scope on these lace kerchief starbuggers and give us her lady opinion. Ellie?
Hi, Joe.
You know, it riles me up every time you walk in here, Ellie. You set my blood to dancing with all your pillowy parts.
Oh, stop it, Joe.
Now give it to me, no fimble famble, Ellie. When we start dusting these rocket boys' lily white bottoms with baby puff?
Joe, since the end of the Cold War, NASA has basically functioned as a giveaway to the American aerospace industry, wasting trillions of taxpayer dollars every year on extravagant programs with no tangible benefit.
Finds a plum to look at, all the sense of a badger to boot.
Joe.
Now I've been thinking on, I got these three little chickens pecking on my head while save NASA some coin. Man wants to go to space, can strap on the helmet, climb in the cannon, let the Chinese gunpowder carry him off among the stars. He'll come back now. Gonna skin a fox in one throat, and you're gonna fancy on it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's the toll-free call-in number where you can call in to join us. The us in studio tonight is Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And Heather, you've got a story about how Facebook's master algorithm powers the world, or at least the social network, specifically the Facebook social network. And then, by virtue of that, the world, because, there are claims that Mark Zuckerberg is planning to wind up running to be the most powerful man in the world in like 3 years.
I'd say he is one of the most powerful people in the world today.
Yeah.
Right. So this comes from the Wall Street Journal. Go ahead, jump in.
All right. So it starts off, it says Instagram engineers faced a Herculean task in early 2016, fearing that people would miss the most important posts. Instagram's leadership asked the engineers to transform the chronological photo feed into a curated list of posts based on users' individual preferences. Now, development of a similar algorithm for Facebook users' news feed, which determines what 2 billion Facebook users see, required an enormous investment of time by some of the world's most highly compensated engineers. Oops, hang on one second. So the other thing that I was actually going to mention, I don't know if you guys heard, but there's actually a lot of this article stems from the government hearing that's coming up through Facebook having put the Russian ads in people's news feeds.
Right.
So a lot of this is tied to that.
So you're saying that the algorithm that Facebook uses is tied to the Russian ads and then the Senate? I'm confused here. How is this tied to?
I think what she's saying is that this stuff is coming more to light because of all the attention that's being paid to Facebook and Twitter and everybody else based on the alleged involvement of the Russians in trying to sway our election, which I personally just find unbelievable that we have the gall to even bring that up, given how many elections we have tried to sway and have swayed around the globe since, the 40s, 50s? I'm sure it goes back before that, but
probably.
We look at the Chilean elections back in, was that in the 50s? I'm trying to remember who that was. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I'm aware of who you're talking about. But, yeah, and, the Facebook algorithm thing, Facebook has even, come out and said publicly, yeah, we manipulate what shows up in people's feeds so that we can do experiments on them and try to figure out if they can be turned happy or sad based on what we allow them to see.
Right.
And Chris, I don't know if you noticed a couple days ago, there was an announcement from Facebook that not only, because we know that they've had the algorithms of what actually shows up in your news feed, but now they're using algorithms to show what shows up in your notifications.
Yeah, I've noticed changes over the last couple of years. So one of the first changes I see is, I used to get friends recommended to me,
right?
You should be friends with this person, and it would say you have 57 friends in common.
Right.
You would have 61 friends in common or 10 friends in common. But now I get these suggestions to befriend somebody who I have one person in common or none in common.
Right. And I've got a very interesting story about how that works.
Really?
And, we don't know exactly how it works, but it's having a negative impact on a certain segment of society, if you will, specifically sex workers. Article here from Gizmodo. They say that Layla has two identities. Not her real name, by the way.
Before I Google her.
She has two identities, but she says Facebook is only supposed to know about one of them. Layla is a sex worker. She goes to great lengths to separate her identity from her ordinary life. So the two different, her real life and her work life, she goes to great lengths to separate those to avoid stigma, arrest, professional blowback, or being stalked by clients. Her real identity, the public one, who lives in California, uses an academic email address and posts about politics, joined Facebook 6 years ago in 2011. Her sex work identity is not on the social network at all. For that, she uses a completely different email address, a completely different telephone number, and a completely different name. Yet, earlier this year, while looking at people you may know recommendations, Layla was shocked to see some of her regular clients.
Wow.
Again, these identities are not supposed to know about what she uses a completely different email address and telephone number.
Right.
For her work and her online persona. Despite the fact that she'd only given Facebook information from her, what they call vanilla identity, the company had somehow discerned her real-world connection to these people, and even more horrifyingly, her account was potentially being presented to them as friend suggestions as well, possibly outing her regular identity to them. That's because, Chris, you're seeing suggestions for voluntarist Rothbard Hoppe Hayek.
Right.
And they're also seeing suggestions for you.
I don't know about I don't know about the Hoppe part.
Right.
I've read Hoppe, so I guess that's accurate.
Right, but no,
I know what
I
you're
mean.
saying.
That there's,
yes.
And for people that aren't aware, there's sort of a meme, a shtick, if you will, in the liberty circles for people to just make up names, throwing together parts of names of famous libertarians. There was one, Bastiat van Spoonershire or something, where it's not a real person, but they've got a Facebook account.
But it's interesting. There's so much intelligence built into these algorithms that are being used by social media companies. They're able to see things that are not apparent, evidently.
Right.
And I think as we see, AI become more a part of how companies are operating, especially in this space, because AI is going to mean money. It's advertising dollars. It's being able to hit people with advertising in such targeted ways that we've never seen, and these companies will be able to charge through the nose through it. It's going to be really interesting to see, and that's one of those things that give me a little bit of pause. I can honestly see a day when some companies are going to voluntarily say, you know what, we need to dial this back a bit because we recognize our customers are getting furious with us for being so invasive in their lives.
Right. And, there already are some companies that have sort of dialed it back a little bit to where, nope, we're not keeping any information server side. Everything is stored client side. And when the CIA comes knocking and says, hand us over your logs, all they have is a log that says, here's an account.
Right. Connect, disconnect.
That's
connect,
it.
Disconnect.
Well, some of them don't even keep that. They're
That's
just
good.
Here's an account. Continuing on here, because Facebook insists on concealing the methods and data they use to link one user to another, Layla's not able to find out how the network exposed her or take steps to prevent it from happening again. She says the people who hire sex workers are also very concerned with anonymity, so they're generally using alternative emails and alternative names as well. So it's not just the sex workers that are trying to stay anonymous, it's the Johns as well.
Yeah, the married ones especially.
Well, for any of them, because there's the threat of arrest.
Yeah, you're breaking the
for
law.
Both. There's more on how Facebook's algorithms potentially out sex workers, plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Message and data rates may apply.
Oh my gosh, that's Frank Thomas.
No.
Yes, that's him. Go ahead. Excuse me, are you Frank Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I bet you get recognized a lot.
I was a pretty good ball player.
You were?
Some people thought so.
Sorry, we recognize you from those Nugenix commercials.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
So does Nugenix really work?
Oh, yeah. I really can feel the difference. My workouts are better, and I feel a lot more energetic.
I wish my husband would use Nugenix.
It's so easy to get started. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Text the word radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And you're going to like the difference, too.
Text radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Samples are not available in stores. Text RADIO77 to 42424.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1. Plus, an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees!
What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855 450 free. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And have either of you seen the Bitcoin price today?
I happened to see it a few times today. I had a lot of people in the shop purchasing Bitcoin. A lot of people.
Excellent. So you saw that it went up over 7,300 overnight. It's currently hovering right around $7,000. And, well, apparently there are some people in Serbia using cryptocurrency miners to heat their homes. Now, I know that's been something that has, I think, tongue-in-cheek been discussed here in New Hampshire, but apparently in Siberia, they're actually doing it. You can read more about that story over at news.bitcoin.com. Plus, they have other stories on there about warning from the SEC, that's the Security and Exchange Commission, not the Southeastern Conference of Collegiate Athletics, warning people to... Hey, just because a celebrity endorses something, don't take that as some kind of business advice. Again, all that news and more at news.bitcoin.com. But right now, we're talking about the way, and again, we don't know all the ways because Facebook likes to keep these things secret. Some of the ways that Facebook's algorithms have actually wound up outing sex workers. And Heather, you've got a story about the way some of their algorithms actually wind up controlling the entire network, not just as it relates to sex workers. Again, talking about a sex worker named Layla, who goes, she says, to great lengths to separate her work life from her regular life. Her work life is not on Facebook at all. However, she's gotten people you may know suggestions for some of her clients. When she went to some secret groups for sex workers, others said that they've had the same thing happen as well. She says, the worst nightmare of a sex worker is to have your real name out there, and Facebook connecting people like this is the harbinger of that nightmare. With all the precautions we take and the different phone numbers we use, why the F are they showing up? How is this happening? That's not a question Facebook is willing to answer. The company is not forthcoming about the people you may know, known internally as PYMK. They're not saying how those recommendations get made. Most of what Facebook does reveal about the feature...
Oh, I have an idea.
Hold on. Let me finish. Most of what Facebook does reveal about the feature is on a help page, which says that the suggestions, quote, come from things like mutual friends, shared networks, or groups, or contacts you've uploaded. They also say that there are more than 100 signals that go into the people you may know feature.
Wow.
100 signals. So maybe there's some kind of tracking of, oh, your phone was in this location. This other person's phone was in this location. Maybe you two
And they both picked up on you saying the same name.
Your phones were awfully close
but
together.
You know how, like, when you say, when you say words or whatever, like, Facebook will all of a sudden, like, have a sponsored ad from, something you talked about a day ago?
That's if you have the Facebook app. If you don't have the Facebook app, then, I've never gotten a sponsored ad for various things because I don't have that app.
Does the worker...
Go ahead.
Does the worker in this article have the app, though, in real life? You know what I mean? Like, so if she had her phone in her car and the other guy...
She says that she has different phone numbers, which means that she either has completely separate phones or she might replace SIM cards. She doesn't go into details.
Yeah, but even if she has different numbers to communicate with him, but she's got her regular phone in the car, it's still picking up everything that she's saying.
Right. And it could be, by default, Facebook Messenger activates and requires access to your microphone.
And so it's always picking up your words.
Right.
That's why if you start talking about cat food, even if you don't have a cat, there's a video right now going around Facebook, ironically, of this couple that doesn't have a cat. And so they keep saying the word cat food on this video that they took. And they're like, gee, honey, let's go buy cat food. We really should buy cat food. And then a day later... They end up filming again, and then he goes, look, there it is in my news feed right on Facebook, an advertisement for cat food.
Yeah, so I did a little experiment. I did this probably 6 months to a year ago, but I had the same suspicions, but these stories hadn't really come out. But I started saying the word Oreos around my phone. Now, I don't buy Oreos. I'm not really nuts about Oreos. They're a little too sweet for me. I've never Googled Oreos. It's one of those products that I just never really... could care less about,
Mm-hmm.
But once I started talking around my phone and saying the word Oreos, I started to get Oreos in my news feeds too.
And
it was only Google and in Facebook.
Okay, Google, buy Oreos. Confirm.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's crazy though.
But this goes back longer than that. So I used to work for a company, and our chief technology officer, our CTO, used to be affiliated with Capital One.
Mm-hmm.
Credit card company.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he told me, this is going back to probably 2003, 2004, 2005, that their algorithms were so good that they could predict how much a person would ring up on a credit card after they got it. They could predict how many payments they would get out of them. And if they were going to stop paying, they could narrow it down to the month.
Wow.
With something like 70 to 80 to 90% accuracy.
Wow.
And this was, this is a decade and a half ago, and this was just going off of what information was available then. That was just going off of the footprints we leave behind when we go buy things and we sign up for credit and things like that.
Right. And
but it was at that point back then.
Part of what goes in that credit report is how often do you pay your electric bill on time? How often do you pay your other utilities?
Right.
What sort of, other credit cards have you ever had? Have you missed payments? How often have you missed payments?
Yeah. But it's amazing that, this is, going back, say, 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
They could get that level of detail, and now we just give them so much more. You voluntarily give Facebook and Google and Twitter all this information about yourself every single day.
The article here continues where Layla suspects that Facebook either collected contact information from other apps on her phone or used location information, noticing that her cell phones and the client's cell phones were in the same place at the same time. A Facebook spokesman, however, said via email, "We do not use information from third-party apps to show friend suggestions and people you may know," adding that they also don't use location services. So the linkage between Layla and her clients remains a mystery. While the algorithmic black box is simply creepy to most of us, the intrusive network analysis can have serious consequences for people in the sex work or porn industry. And there's more on this, plus all the various ways that Facebook's algorithms run the world. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested. Right now, you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad gravity system. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. That's PROPUR.
Advertising your business with GCN is simple, effective, and more affordable than you might think. Visit advertise.gcnlive.com for more info. Take your business to the next level. That's advertise.gcnlive.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is novelist Tom Robbins. When my mother was diagnosed with glaucoma, her conservative Virginia physician told her there was only one treatment that might ease her pain and save her eyesight. That treatment was medical marijuana, which he could not prescribe. I offered to get her some and teach her how to use it effectively, but my father objected because marijuana was against the law. So my mother, who loved to read and walk in nature, was condemned to grow cruelly, unnecessarily blind. Tragedies like this happen all the time, but they don't have to keep happening. To learn more about medical marijuana, call the Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or visit them on the web at mpp.org.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And if you enjoy the show and you want more people to hear the show, then consider joining the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And you can join for as little as $5 a month, and your money winds up being used to do just those three things: advertise, market, and promote the show to the people who make decisions about adding the show to more radio stations. We're already on close to 170 coast to coast, and with your help, we can be on more. amp.freetalklive.com. Plus, there are perks, so it's not just you wind up giving us money and, hopefully we get on more shows. There are perks. There's the AMP-only Facebook group. There's an AMP section of the Shire forums. And, Chris, I don't know about you, but I enjoy the Shire forums.
I don't get on there as often as I should, but I subscribe to the, you get like a daily update.
Yep.
And
here's what happened in the last day or since you last logged on.
And oftentimes that's what draws me there. It's like I'll see something really interesting, something going on or some story, and I pop over there and hit it. But yeah, it's a great alternative to social media.
amp.freetalklive.com. And speaking of alternatives to social media, we're talking about social media. Story from Gizmodo about how Facebook, and we will get into the Wall Street Journal article, just a little bit more here from Gizmodo about how Facebook has been secretly outing sex workers. Again, story here about a sex worker named Layla, not her real name, not her name that she uses for work either. But she said that she noticed some of her clients coming up in this People You May Know feature. And Facebook, they're saying, yeah, we're not telling you what goes into it, but there are 100 different signals, and location isn't one of them. Well, that doesn't really, give any kind of clue as to what are those 100 signals. But the author of this article says an obvious solution from a user's point of view would be for Facebook to fully explain what data it uses to make these friend suggestions and allow users to filter it or opt out completely of the People You May Know feature. But Facebook...
I wonder if it does the same with like drug dealers and stuff.
Very possibly.
It's like drug dealers are out, and then all of a sudden there are people they may know, like random connects that they've been introduced to.
Yes. Spokesman for Facebook says, an opt-out's not something that we think people would find useful. For example, even for people who've been on Facebook for a long time and already have a lot of friends, most of us like to know when someone we know has joined for the first time.
Well, it's a big difference there.
Whenever I drive, I have a friend of mine, though, that works at the Sylvania factory or whatever, and every time I drive by it, we're friends on Facebook, it tells me in my Facebook notifications, it'll be like, so-and-so is nearby.
Right.
Yeah. So, you've got somebody coming up with, hey, maybe people want to turn this off, and a Facebook spokesman saying, yeah, we don't think they do. We don't think that they want to turn it off. We know what people want, and we're going to give it to them, because what was the thing Steve Jobs said in 2007? Nobody knows that they want a smartphone until we make a smartphone and tell them here's a smartphone.
Right. And there is something to be said for that when it is, new technologies that are coming out and new things. I mean, I'm glad that companies out there innovate and do creative things. What I find a little frightening is when it becomes as invasive as it has been in our regular everyday life, and
right.
It gets kind of creepy, and
something else that's creepy is you and I, Chris, we can't completely shut off friend request on Facebook.
Right.
You cannot set it to no one. The only people that are allowed to do that are really, really famous people that Facebook has decided are allowed to completely shut that off.
Right.
And there's definitely more to this article from Gizmodo, but let's jump into, Heather, you finally found a workaround to the Wall Street Journal paywall,
Yes.
and you've got that article pulled up. So let's jump back into that.
Yeah, so the last paragraph I had read had mentioned that there's actually 2 billion Facebook users, which to me just kind of strikes me because there's like 7 billion people in the world. You got like a third of them on Facebook? That's crazy.
Well, there's sort of some fudging of those numbers to where it's multiple accounts. You've got accounts that it might not even be an actual person. Somebody created an account and then they forgot to log in
a while ago. I don't know if you remember that, but they would go and a couple of friends of mine that had like random made up last names or whatever. Facebook would like filter those people out and then send them like they'd have to prove who
because
they were.
Facebook has a real names policy, and if somebody complained, so it wasn't somebody at Facebook just going around, because I still have friends that don't have their real name. It's just that nobody's complained about them not having their real name.
Gotcha. Anyway, so this says at Instagram, 3 or 4 engineers got the job done in less than 5 weeks, said Joaquin Candela, Facebook's head of applied machine learning. The team was able to clone the existing news feed algorithm, then tweak it to suit Instagram. However much Instagram's engineers tweaked it, the fact that most of what powers Instagram came straight from Facebook's news feed shows the dominance and success of this basic engine of social media. Think of it and the endless modular chunks of artificial intelligence that go into it as Facebook's master algorithm. Mr. Candela recently explained how his team works with or create tools for almost every other engineering team at the company, and how artificial intelligence has become core to most things Facebook does. If telling us what to look at next is Facebook's, I can't even pronounce this, it's like Latin, raison d'etre, then the artificial intelligence that enables that endless spoon feeding of content is the company's most important and sometimes most controversial intellectual property. A sorted, curated feed tuned for engagement is the product of a device that may someday be viewed by historians as a milestone on par with the steam engine.
I think that they're definitely blowing out of proportion the importance of the Facebook algorithm that shows me the same article 5 times, and then other things that I've not seen, it doesn't show me at all. But to say that it's as important as the steam engine,
though, when you think about it, right? When you think about the number of people that are on Facebook, and these algorithms are essentially deciding, what people consume on a daily basis in terms of information. You can shift minds. You're planning information in minds that's having an impact on people.
You're assuming that Facebook's allowing people to actually see things to shift their opinions.
Yeah, but they're
being shown what they want to be shown.
They're showing what the algorithms decide they should be shown. Because, I always thought about this. I'm like, those friends that post those things that are like, if you don't share, if you see this and share it, I'm like, oh, what if I just pretend like it wasn't one of the stories that popped up in my newsfeed? They'll never know.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It is a powerful tool in the grand scheme of things. When you have 2 billion users, whatever the actual number is, and you're deciding what content these people see on a daily basis.
I'm not saying that there's not some power in deciding what people see. I'm saying it's not more important than the steam engine.
I'm kind of I'm somewhere in between. I see where Heather's going, and I do think that. Would you argue that the internet was not as an important a technological advancement as the steam engine?
The internet as a whole, certainly.
Okay.
Facebook, no.
Okay, well, here's where I take it. I see, I remember Internet kind of 1.0 with what it provided, which was connectivity, and Internet 2.0, which is the era that Facebook arose in, gave birth to social media, and I think that It's right up there.
I think social media is one of the worst things to ever happen to the internet.
Didn't say it was good.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Chad here, owner of Infidel Body Armor. With the shooting in Vegas, there will be calls to ban guns and body armor. You can expect prices to rise dramatically in the coming weeks as gun grabbers try to outlaw your freedom. If you don't have your armor kit yet, you are behind the curve. Don't miss your window of opportunity. Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com and click on Specials. That's InfidelBodyArmor.com.
This just in. Before your doctor gives you another antibiotic prescription that you don't want, get this free report, The Miracle of Garlic, your first home medicine. This free report is filled with easy kitchen remedies for common colds, flus, sore throats, ear infections, and more. Plus, learn to boost your immunity before you get sick. Go now to GCNwellness.com. Just like it sounds, GCNwellness.com to get your free report, The Miracle of Garlic. Click GCNwellness.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about that absolutely horrible thing that is social media. and the algorithms that power it. And claim from the Wall Street Journal is that Facebook's algorithm is more important than the Steam engine. I completely disagree, but I'll tell you something that is important. Not going to say it's as important as the Steam engine or more important than the Steam engine, but saving money on things that you're going to buy online. And you can do that when you go to saveatpurse.com. That's saveatpurse.com. I've actually got a couple of orders right now that are shipping, and on the way here, saving, I think, between 15 to 20% on both of those orders. And now what I did is I went to saveatpurse.com. I put things into an Amazon wish list and then imported the wish list there to saveatpurse.com. Paid for the order using cryptocurrency. I actually used Dash and used Shapeshift to convert that to Bitcoin, but someone on the other end said, I'm willing to pay this percent markup on these items and wind up getting Bitcoin. So they will wind up getting Bitcoin when the items come to me. When I get the items, I go back to saveatpurse.com and click, I have received these items. And then everybody's happy because I got the things I wanted to buy and I got it at a discount. And somebody else wound up getting Bitcoin, which, again, the price right now is $7,023, according to BitcoinAverage.com.
And why would anybody want Bitcoin? Boy, that just boggles my mind. So somebody has been involved in SaveAtPurse.com, let's say a year ago.
I've been using it for almost 2 years and saved almost $700.
2 years ago, we saw prices in the, $300, $400 range?
Yes.
Yes. So they're $400 worth of, if you bought $400 worth of stuff from somebody using SaveAtPurse.com, that person is now sitting on something like $7,000.
Assuming that they didn't wind up then using the Bitcoin. Because there's this sort of
Bitcoin
claim
has utility,
right? But there's a claim by some that you should only ever hold the currency, and then other people saying no, if you only ever hold a currency, then what's the real value if it's not actually being used?
Well, that's the neat thing about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies too, is for them to be successful, they have to have utility, and utility can be in use as an everyday means of exchange. That's one use.
Yes.
And the other is as a store of value. And those, I think, are both perfectly valid. If you hold on to something and it appreciates and you want to cash out at a later point, more power to you.
I was given $10 and I would just every couple of months buy sweet potato fries with the interest.
Yeah.
But Chris,
it has sweet potato fry utility.
Where I see the problem there is when the people say you should not spend it because you need to use it as a store of value. So if everybody just stopped using cryptocurrencies and only used it as a store of value, I think it would stop being a store of value because it doesn't have that everyday utility.
It would probably...
Just like if gold stopped being used in jewelry and stopped
like
being used in electronics, where's the store of value when nobody's using it for anything other than I'm holding on to it?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is it can end up being both things.
It can be, but it shouldn't be only one of them. It needs to be both.
Well, yeah, you can. Everybody's going to have, not everybody, but a lot of people are going to have differing opinions on that, and I'm of the belief that it can function as both, and it does very well at both, with the exception of a couple things that need to end up being a little better, like fees.
Right.
But there's all sorts of things in the works that may or may not help that.
Yeah. So let's get back into this article about the absolutely horrible thing that is social media, specifically Facebook.
Yeah.
And the algorithm. And now, Heather, you, I think, are on the sort of opposite end here, to where you think that Facebook is absolutely wonderful.
I'm not saying it's absolutely wonderful. I'm saying that it's absolutely powerful in the sense that it has the ability to put information that it deems necessary in front of like billions of users. So in
information
that sense, it's a very powerful.
It deems useful, not information that you or I deem useful, because they've got an algorithm that decides what is useful. And then that algorithm determines what other people see. And Facebook, what was it, a year and a half ago when Facebook came out and announced that, yeah, we've been doing a social experiment on people, but hey, it's okay because it's in our terms of service that we can conduct research.
Right.
And we're calling this research by trying to figure out if we can make people happy or sad based on what we allow them to see.
Oh, that was so morbid. You think about that. Here's a company that's experimenting on people, seeing if they can cause them to be unhappy. But they did, and that's just one of those things. People, and for every one of you out there that's sitting here railing against Facebook for being this evil, corrupt social media company, if you take that tact and you use it, you're voluntarily taking part in it. If you don't like Facebook, just don't use it. And I don't want to hear your complaints about, well, I've got to use it because everybody else is using it. No. Just go away. Just drop it, delete it from all your machines, delete your account, and just be done with it. Otherwise, please just deal with it.
So let's jump back into this article. Okay, so apparently there's another problem with the firewall paywall thing there. But did you hear the story? And I don't have this pulled up, but the guy that created the Facebook like button recently announced that he was getting away from Facebook
social media. I saw the headline. I didn't read it. That's great.
Yeah. I think it was on Sex and Science Hour with Brian Sovereign, Stephanie Murphy, former co-host on Free Talk Live. They were talking about it a couple of weeks ago.
Weird.
Where, the guy that created the like button is saying, yeah, I sort of created a monster here because people get addicted to that dopamine rush when they see the red little one of you've got notifications, and then they look and people like my status.
Oh, yeah. Validation, man.
I want to know who came up with the poke.
No, anyway, I finally got this article back up. It's funny, right? They want me to pay money for it. No, thanks. So basically it says this engine, not the steam engine, but the social media engine, is built to capture human attention and has shown itself to be exploitable by bad actors and possibly detrimental to our democracy, even when it is functioning as advertised. This has prompted congressional hearings for Facebook, like the ones I'd mentioned earlier, and other tech companies scheduled for this November. Facebook has been a vessel for Russian influence and the spread of fake news. Who says what is fake is up to, the reader, I guess. And potential cause for envy and unhappiness. The personalization of content that Facebook's master algorithm allows and the hyper-partisan news sites that have risen to feed it have created, for many users, personalized filter bubbles of what is essentially non-overlapping reality. So this is where I think Facebook is a powerful tool, Daryl. Not that I necessarily think it's so wonderful, but that it does have this ability to influence people. Could it possibly influence an election? Could the entire American democracy be up to Facebook algorithms someday? It's totally a possibility.
Eventually. I don't discount the power that social media could have on an election.
It's programming people.
And it's not just Facebook, it's the people that go to Facebook with, dump trucks full of money and say, this is the result we're looking for. Mm-hmm. Be creative. What can your social media platform do to help me get this result? And there you sort of have this meld of a business trying to satisfy a potential advertiser. Mm-hmm. And I just find it very interesting and scary.
And didn't you mention something about self-actualizing bubbles of something? And there have been flowcharts that have been done showing who's actually connecting with whom. And there are, sort of
echo chambers.
Echo chamber is one term, but just sort of spheres to where people over here communicate with people over here, and there's very little crossover between different groups. So, yeah, people aren't, using social media to be exposed to new ideas. They're using it to reinforce their own, to communicate with who they want to communicate with. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450 free.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now at
855-510-BACK.
for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain.
Call 855-510-BACK to see if laser spine surgery is right for you. That's 855-510-BACK.
What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, November 2nd, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.10 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,276 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,934. Antiwar.com reports the Iraqi military offensive against Iraqi Kurdistan has been on pause since Friday, but may soon be resuming, according to Iraqi Joint Operations Command, which are accusing the Kurds of using the ceasefire talks to buy time. Iraqi officials say the Kurds are in particular delaying the transfer of control of border crossings between Iraqi Kurdistan and Iran, Syria, and Turkey. Iraq ordered all crossings closed and all flights banned out of Kurdish airports. They believe the Kurds are trying to hold off on any more concessions while keeping the talks going to give the Peshmerga time to set up new defenses, and some Iraqi officials seem keen to just resume the offensive and take more territory. This perhaps should be unsurprising, as Iraqi Prime Minister Haider Abadi has indicated his government intends to revoke all the Kurdish government's autonomy to punish them for having a referendum supporting independence, and the Kurds don't seem to be getting anything back in this exchange. Though the Peshmerga has not appeared effective in resisting Iraq's military, there's no reason for the Kurds to be in a rush to accept what amounts to an absolute surrender while talks are still ongoing. For over 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Hilton Worldwide Incorporated has reached a $700,000 settlement with the states of New York and Vermont over two separate data breaches 2 years ago that exposed more than 360,000 credit card numbers. The attorneys general in the states announced on Tuesday the culmination of the investigation that found that Hilton did not notify customers in a timely manner and failed to maintain reasonable data security. The state of New York will receive $400,000 in the settlement, and the state of Vermont $300,000. New York attorney Attorney General Eric Schneiderman said in a statement, businesses have a duty to notify consumers in the event of a breach and protect their personal information as securely as possible. Lax security practices like those we uncovered at Hilton put New Yorkers' credit card information and other personal data at serious risk. My office will continue to hold businesses accountable for protecting their customers' personal information. According to New York state law, the disclosure must be made in the most expedient time possible and without unreasonable delay. Vermont law requires preliminary notice to the Attorney General within 14 days of discovering a breach. Virginia-headquartered Hilton has 14 brands comprising more than 4,900 properties with more than 796,000 rooms in 104 countries and territories. In the first breach, Hilton learned on February 15, 2015, from a computer services provider that its system in Great Britain was communicating with a suspicious computer outside Hilton's computer network. In a forensic investigation, it revealed credit card targeting malware potentially exposed cardholder data between November 18th and December 5th, 2014. In the second incident, Hilton discovered on July 10th, 2015, a breach through an intrusion system. In that incident, the investigation found payment card data was potentially exposed between April 21st, 2015 and July 27th, 2015, and the attackers rounded up 363,952 credit card numbers for removal. But Hilton did not provide notice until November 24th, 2015. Hilton said there was no evidence attackers removed cardholder data, but the forensic investigator was not able to review all relevant logs. It added that intruders used anti-forensic tools. In the agreement, Hilton has agreed to provide notice to affected cardholders in the two states and to design and maintain a comprehensive information security program to protect consumer cardholder data. The company issued a statement saying, Hilton is strongly committed to protecting our customers' payment information and maintaining the integrity of our systems. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
My fellow sheep, election season is upon us. Are you one of the 12% of Americans who still approves of our government? Then we need your help to force the other 88% into compliance. Our democracy depends on it. We're an organization called Citizens Against Too Much Unfettered Freedom, or CATMUF. CATMUF is a bipartisan flock of sheep whose goal is expanding government until nothing else remains. Because the government is here to help you. How can you help CATMUF help you? By only voting for candidates dedicated to expanding government. It's easy. You don't need to study the issues. No matter what a politician says when running for office, they're all dedicated to expanding government. And make sure you tell all your friends and family to vote for more government. Here at CATMUF, we don't care if you vote Democrat or Republican, as long as you vote for candidates committed to growing our federal family. CATMUF. Because folks just aren't smart enough to handle real freedom.
Free Talk Live. This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 3 in studio. It's Daryl
and Heather
and Chris.
And you can join us by calling toll-free 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And Chris, did you see the big news out of New York City?
Yes.
Did you see the news that they're finally free to dance?
I am so thrilled. I can go to New York and dance without threat of arrest or fine.
Yeah, this is something that when I saw the headline here, I was like, wait a second, what? I never knew that dancing was highly restricted in New York City, but apparently it was. The article coming from FEE. As of this week, New Yorkers are finally free to dance. As incredible as it seems, the law that mostly banned dancing in New York clubs and bars has finally fallen, fully 91 years after it was passed. The law that a majority of New York City Council voted to repeal was called the cabaret law. Yes, it was heavily enforced since its inception, and increasingly so, especially in the 1980s, as a supposed way of cleaning up the city. The end of the oppression was widely celebrated. Now, Chris, I know we often give you a hard time about being a little older than us.
A little.
But
Jesus.
Well, the age gap between me and you is less than the age gap between me and Heather.
Yeah.
Right. I'm old enough to be her father, for God's sakes.
Yeah, probably,
But I have heard stories that, and I'm not old enough to have seen this firsthand, but I heard stories that in the 1980s, apparently Times Square was like a you don't want to go there area. It wasn't really that tourist mecca that it is now.
No, it was a scary place. It was infested with lots of crime and a seedy sort. I mean, there was a lot of prostitution, a lot of drugs, stuff like that.
Yep. So in comes the enforcement of the cabaret law that was passed in 19 what's 91 minus 2017? 1926. So we've got to wait 50 some odd years to actually just crack down using this cabaret law to clean up the city. The law banned any musical entertainment, singing, dancing, or other forms of amusement without a license. Now, you might be asking, well, just go get the license and just pay the fee. Because I know there's somebody thinking, oh, well, there's a license. Just go get the license. What's the problem? Just get the license.
That's fairly common. Lots of towns will have some sort of entertainment license. You know what I mean?
Right. So just go get the license. Well, again, according to Fee, the process of getting one was so difficult with a labyrinth of bureaucracy to navigate that of the 25,000 bars and restaurants in New York City, only 97 had a permit. The law began as a way to crush speakeasies, but the New York Times explains how the law grew more intense over time. They say from the 1940s to 1967, the city required performers and employees of cabarets to be fingerprinted and carry cabaret cards, which could be denied if the applicant had a police record. The star-studded list of musicians who were denied cards or had them revoked included Thelonious Monk and Charlie Parker. Billie Holiday could not get a club date for many years before her death because she had a narcotics record. Ray Charles, the blind blues singer, cannot work here for the same reason, according to an article from the Times in 1966. Frank Sinatra refused to sing in New York for years rather than submit to the indignity of the required fingerprinting. The law has been continuously enforced.
So that's surprising. You think of this as like a blue law. It's like, you can't spit on the sidewalk on Thursday mornings in some ridiculous town.
When I think of blue laws, I think of the ones that say you're not allowed to purchase alcohol on a Sunday. Stores aren't allowed to be open before noon on a Sunday and must close by 6 p.m. to make sure that everybody has that opportunity to go to church.
Well, there's those, but there are just some
no sporting events on Sundays.
Yeah, you'll have a lot of them, and a lot of them were tied to religious standards at one point or another, and that's not a saying good, bad, indifferent. It's just saying that that's how they got started. But a lot of it was, stores could not be open past dusk on the Sabbath and things like that. But there were some really strange ones. I mean, there's still laws across the country that forbid adultery, for example.
Right. There was actually
adultery, like cheating on your spouse?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm all for
like
that.
a local ordinance.
I'm all for those laws.
That law is on the books in New Hampshire.
Don't be getting married and cheating on people, okay?
Hold on.
There's plenty of...
Tell me how you're going to enforce that law.
What do you mean? Same way it is.
What do you mean?
Social
You go into
condemnation.
people's bedrooms and make sure?
I will not. You know what? There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so many unjust laws for me to fight. I'm not about to sit here and defend the dude that wants to go cheat on his wife. Sorry.
How about the selling of RVs?
Next.
So
on Sundays.
Hold on. Let's
I was
talk
a little
about
kid
the.
that can't have a lemonade stand. I'll battle that one out.
Let's talk about the adultery law for a minute,
All right, let's
because
go.
there was a proposal a couple of years ago in New Hampshire to repeal the New Hampshire adultery law. And one of the members of the committee said, well, I know we don't enforce the law, and nobody that testified knew when the last time anybody had actually been prosecuted for violating the law.
Right.
But we can't just repeal this, because then that would send the message that we condone the activity.
I think it would, and I don't think they should repeal it.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think it sends a message having that law in the books.
Who does this send a message to?
Just in general.
Just
I mean,
tell
I
me
think,
who is
I don't
dissuaded
know.
from
I think
having
cheaters are
sex
disgusting
because there's a
people,
law
and I
against
think it's dishonest. And I don't like dishonest people.
So you would,
Hold
in
on,
the same
so-
sense,
I've
if you're
been
going to
cheated
make
on
it
enough
about...
times.
Hold
I
on.
mean,
So, Heather, neither me
Whatever.
nor Chris are advocating that people cheat on
I
their
know.
spouse.
I'm just saying I won't shed a tear if cheaters
We're
get
saying
in
that they
trouble.
should not go to jail for doing so.
Is that the
Okay,
role? Is that
you
the
know
role
what?
of government?
You're taking sexually transmitted diseases, this kind of stuff. Like when you're cheating on someone, it's not just, oh, I'm going and doing some harmless little activity. You can give somebody diseases, then end up giving them
I'm not
cervical
denying
cancer
that.
could, you could give them HIV. You could do all this other stuff. Like
All of that
sex,
could happen without
sex
cheating.
is not like
Exactly.
an extracurricular activity like eating breakfast, and people need to start taking sex as like a more it's a responsible thing to do, and people shouldn't be having sex. They can't be responsible in doing it. And when you enter into responsible relationships with people and get married with people, it's dishonest to then go and cheat on them and put them potentially.
Nobody's saying it's not dishonest.
That's what I'm saying. Is I think that the laws should stay on the books.
Okay, then
So
I'm going
people
to
should
advocate,
go to
Daryl.
prison.
Nope, I'm going to advocate for this, Daryl. The ownership
You
of...
go to prison for fraud. What's the difference?
No.
You're cheating. You're defrauding someone or whatever.
Cervical cancer may kill people.
Yeah, and you can get it from some sexually transmitted diseases.
True. But when you get shot with a gun, it will kill you. The odds are really, really high. So what I'm going to advocate using Heather logic is that we ban private ownership of all firearms because people will die.
I'm not saying that.
No. Listen
When you
listen
enter
to-
into a relationship, it's a two-way street.
Doesn't matter. I'm entering into a relationship with my government, and I'm saying I don't want people to die from firearms. Therefore, just outlaw them. Outlaw them, and if you need to, go search house to house to find all of them. That way, I will save more lives. So that's a good thing, right? It's moral,
What are you
right?
talking about?
We don't want people to die, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the difference here?
What do you mean? What's the
You're going to
difference?
advocate for laws against adultery, saying you don't care if they exist. I'm just saying, okay, let's come up with laws that ban the private ownership of firearms. Then
That's
people
so
will not,
different.
No, it's
Yeah,
people
that's
won't
different.
die.
Your calls
Nope.
and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Message and data rates may apply. Oh my gosh, that's Frank Thomas. No. Yes, that's him. Go ahead.
Excuse me, are you Frank Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I bet you get recognized a lot.
I was a pretty good ball player.
You were?
Some people thought so.
Sorry, we recognize you from those Nugenics commercials.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
So does Nugenics really work?
Oh, yeah. I really can feel the difference. My workouts are better, and I feel a lot more energetic.
I wish my husband would use Nugenics.
It's so easy to get started. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Text the word radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And you're going to like the difference, too.
Text radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of Nugenics. Samples are not available in stores. Text RADIO77 to 42424.
I got my Blink Home home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Are you a sneezer? If you're not, can you get close to one? I don't literally mean someone sneezing. Sneezer, as defined by marketing guru Seth Godin, is an opinion leader. When a sneezer mentions something, other people catch what Godin calls the idea virus. Seth Godin says some people are more likely to tell their friends about a great new idea. So identifying and courting sneezers is a key success factor for idea merchants. His book, Unleashing the Idea Virus, is the most downloaded ebook in history, and you can download the whole book free. That's how he's making his idea contagious. Click tips, tricks, and other stuff to help you cut through the clutter at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And how would you like to have a home security system that gets delivered right to your door that then allows you, through a very easy setup, to connect it directly to your smartphone so that you can watch the stream of that security camera anytime you want to? Or maybe you just want to wind up being notified whenever anything moves in front of the camera. Well, you can do that with the Blink home security system. Again, there's an easy setup, and even with a complicated router system, you should be able to get it set up in about 10 to 15 minutes. And again, you can set it up to either give you a notification whenever anything moves in front of the wireless camera, or you can check the stream anytime you want from your phone. And we've got a deal for you. Get 3 Blink security cameras for what the other guys charge for 1. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL, as in Free Talk Live. That website one more time, blinkprotect.com/FTL. Started off the hour talking about the law that has been removed in New York City that allows people to dance. And then somehow we wound up going from dancing to adultery. And, well, we've got Charlie calling in from Kentucky that wants to talk about
Phone
adultery.
lines lit up.
Oh, great.
Charlie, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, I don't really have a position for or against the law itself. I just took issue with the argument comparing outlawing guns to prevent murder as a comparison to having a law against adultery.
All right, that was Chris that made that comparison.
I know, that was a pretty big leap, wasn't it?
No, but what I'm saying is if your argument was, this can promote STDs and that can cause people to get cervical cancer and get sick and potentially die, I'm saying, okay, well, I'll propose
sex.
outlawed guns.
I'm saying outlaw, like adultery and sex is different.
But your whole argument hinged on STDs. Please
So,
go ahead,
Charlie,
caller. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Well, the counterpart to your argument in this context would be to outlaw relationships. Not, that's the equivalent of outlawing gun ownership.
Yeah, there you go.
The gun ownership itself doesn't equate to murder, and a relationship itself doesn't equate to adultery.
Thank
you.
Very good. I agree with that completely. And to be clear, I'm being extremely facetious. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm an ardent supporter and activist on Second Amendment issues.
Yeah, I just think it took it two steps above.
Well, that was my intent.
Yeah, but it skipped over the actual cause, which is cheating on someone, leads to these other issues.
Well, the cheating isn't the cause. There are underlying causes, and there have been a lot of studies that try to figure out why do people cheat.
Right.
And a lot of times, there's something missing. They don't necessarily feel as appreciated by the partner as they once did. So they're getting a little extra attention, and then, it just winds up leading to something else.
Right. Or what if that person is actually truly compatible with this person that they met, much more so than who they were with?
Then be a decent human being, have the respect to leave the other person, and be
the
honest
first
about
relationship.
it.
Yep, I don't disagree.
Go on. I mean, come on. Like, I think the world that we live in today, like, they make it seem like sex is just some, like, oh yeah, it's like eating breakfast. It's treated like it's something so minor, but it's like you could potentially have kids. I mean, just look at the court system in this world. Like, with families divided, divorce rates on the rise. I mean, nobody has family values anymore. And then everyone's out screwing each other and, like, having kids. And then the kids grow up a mess. And it's like we're destroying the world by having no, like, set of values.
So should having a child out of wedlock be illegal?
No, I have one out of wedlock. I was a single mother, but you know what? It's honestly, like, I look back on some of the things, like, I done. I wish I was in a more structured, like, being taught certain things that I wasn't when I was younger. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm learning from my own mistakes. Like, it's been hard raising a daughter by myself. Like, sex is no joke. You get pregnant, you have a kid. Like, that's a lifelong commitment, really.
Nobody's saying that it isn't.
Okay, but that's why I'm saying, like, adultery, people that enter in, that make these agreements, and they're trying to plan a life, and they're trying to do things to go and cheat. To me, that's very disgusting behavior.
You're trying to turn this into
it's not bad behavior.
Hold on, she's making a moral argument when the question came up about blue laws. What my question is what role does government play in what goes on between two people consensually? And you can disagree with what they're doing all you want, but does government have a role? Yes or no?
Do we not all have a stake in the future?
Does government have a role in policing what two people do in a bedroom?
I'm gonna say yes. The government has a role in enforcing contractual agreements.
Okay, and then
people.
Make your marriage a contractual agreement.
That's what marriage is.
No, it is rarely a contractual agreement. It is usually an agreement made in a church. Now, what I'm saying is draw up a contract. Draw up a marriage contract.
Implied consent, whatever. You can get all technical.
You can argue that all you wish, but if people wish to enter into a contractual agreement, that to me means something very different than a service in a church. And I don't discount the value of doing something before God. I don't. I don't disagree with you there. And I don't disagree with you that it is morally reprehensible to cheat on your spouse. What I do disagree with you on vehemently is whether our government has a role in that. And that's where you and I are just going to differ. I don't think I don't need government in the bedroom at all. And if people wish to behave morally reprehensible, then that is one of those risks that we assume in a free society. You can have it the other way. You can have it like some Muslim countries where what's the penalty for adultery?
Depending upon the sex of the partner, depends upon the punishment in some of the theocratic places.
Stoning, I think, in Iran for the woman.
In the United States, until not too long ago, it was illegal to get divorced in a lot of cases because the marriage vow says till death do us part.
I mean, there's other like third world countries and stuff like that where there's no government and people just go around screwing each other like animals. I mean,
name a place that doesn't have government.
Right, please.
Because I would really love to go
place.
there and see some free. Oh, there's Lieberland, but everybody that tries to go there gets arrested.
I don't know. But what is government? We think of government just because American government is more organized than like other governments where government is really just any hierarchy of people. You could. When you think about it, any business that has a hierarchy that like has positions of power and authority that give orders to people beneath them, that's a form of government.
I get that. But the basic question, the question I keep coming back to is, does government have a role in enforcing laws or creating a law that says two people cannot sleep with someone who is not their spouse?
Let's look at how to change behavior then. Let's talk about that when we get back.
Is that the role of government, to change behavior?
Charlie, I'm not sure if you've got more to say. I'm going to put you on hold just in case you do. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Should people go to prison for adultery? This is Free Talk Live.
I didn't say that.
Chad here, owner of Infidel Body Armor. With the shooting in Vegas, there will be calls to ban guns and body armor. You can expect prices to rise dramatically in the coming weeks as gun grabbers try to outlaw your freedom. If you don't have your armor kit yet, you're behind the curve. Don't miss your window of opportunity. Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com and click on Specials. That's InfidelBodyArmor.com.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
Sunfest is on the line in California.
Yeah, the greatest danger is that they're destroying the sun and the earth.
Whoa. Slow down, Sunfest. Slow down. Who is destroying the sun?
The economy. Everything that's happening is a job hunt. It's a job tax.
What are you talking about?
Definitely. The sun is waning, the water is rising, and we need the sun to dry it. When you have an economy that's creating jobs on a war scale, 24 hours a day, the cosmos can't keep up with it, let alone the sun. There's dark Andromeda, which is hurling at us. If you're not informed, you can go out and get the information.
That's our name tonight.
Stop your sexist attack on women, whereas you hear anything
You
that
are
the men
so
have to say.
outrageous. Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to CoinCap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. CoinCap.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Have you ever wanted to start a website or blog, but you've not been able to put that idea into action? Well, you're in luck because HostGator, one of the top hosting companies out there, is offering a special deal to Free Talk Live listeners. Go to HostGator.com/FTL and you can get up to 50% off their regular prices. Hosting your own website or blog can be intimidating, but HostGator makes it easy. HostGator offers a simple one-click, easy installation for WordPress, and they have 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week over-the-phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive and user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation and the simplicity of use into the hands of you, the customer. HostGator has a 99.99% uptime rating, so you don't have to worry about outages. To get that special offer of up to 50% off just for Free Talk Live listeners, visit HostGator.com/FTL. That's HostGator.com/FTL. It's Daryl, Heather, and Chris in studio. Let's go back to Charlie calling in from Kentucky. Charlie was calling in because, well, somehow we wound up going from talking about dancing being legalized in New York City to talking about adultery. Charlie, continue with your thoughts. Let me try that again. Charlie, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, continue with your thoughts.
Okay, yeah. So 3 things just to add quickly to what you most recently said was, and my thoughts are you can't legislate morality. Secondly, marriage is, in a sense, a verbal contract or commitment that there's rarely ever consequence for breach of contract. And then the third thing is the real harm or pain that's most instantly felt from cheating is really the lying and deception and betrayal involved in the cheating itself. It's not so much the physical act. That's pretty much all I got left for you.
I agree with you completely on that.
Well, see, the way I look at it is if when people do get married and they sign a contract and they sign that they're getting married to this person, then enforcement of it just becomes contract enforcement, which isn't that a libertarian position?
Charlie, thank you for the call. Well, we need to figure out what exactly is in this contract because
okay, so if I were to get married with somebody and we would my husband and I agree not to sleep with it, have sexual relations with any other person, and then they go and do it,
right?
They should be held accountable, right?
Are you drawing up a contract?
So I will when I get married.
The marriage license doesn't have terms of a contract. Marriage vows are for the most part, mostly the same, but people can make up their own parts of the marriage vows. So if one person's marriage vows is I will love you forever, and then they stop loving the person but they remain married, that's technically a violation
Breach
of the contract. So how do you enforce that?
What are you talking about?
No. Frequently during vows, I will love you forever.
Through sickness and health, through poorness and wealth.
Till death do us part.
You have to argue your case. I mean, if you breach that contract, that's up to whoever breaches it to argue their case as to why, and then it'll be decided. I mean,
So
that's what happens in any disputed contract.
Right. I would have no issue with somebody taking somebody else to court saying, you know what, we got married. We both made this verbal contract. I think you violated it, let's say by cheating. Therefore, I'm suing you for damages.
You have to make the victim whole.
Okay.
That's libertarian.
That's different than saying it should be on the books that it is illegal to do X.
Exactly.
It is illegal. The way I see adultery is I don't know how the law is exactly written, but the way I see it is when you enter into a marriage contract, adultery is the term given to violating that contract. Because
you are advocating taking this outside the area of contract law between two people. One person has been wronged and the other person hasn't. You're taking it to say the state has a role. The state needs to make it against the law so the state can charge the party that wronged the other with a crime. That's what you're advocating. That's where we disagree.
It's a contract.
If you want to treat a marriage as a contract, then by all means, both people, if they go into it understanding that this is a contract and it's probably it's basically a prenup.
You don't have to get married. Nobody has to get married. Like if a guy or a girl is going to get married, then they should own up to what it is they're agreeing to do with the other person.
Then do a prenup.
Whatever you want to call it. Either
that
way,
eliminates
once you
the need for me to have the state involved in the bedroom.
If and girlfriends want to cheat on each other, I don't consider that to be like adultery or anything, right? Because if you wait till marriage, and marriage, what is marriage, right? If it's binding two people together and you're agreeing to be faithful to each other and XYZ or whatever, then somebody cheats, that should be, in my opinion, a crime.
A crime.
It's a breach. It's a crime. There's a victim.
There can be a victim, but the question is,
how is this unlibertarian?
Because government has no responsibility, no role.
I'm not an anarchist, though. I'm a libertarian.
It doesn't. That's not libertarian. Libertarians would say this is between these two people, and they should be able to work it out in whatever way meets their needs. And that can be through mediation. That could be through a prenuptial contract and involving the court system if they wished. But my biggest beef is I don't need a law on the books that tells me that this person faces criminal charges because of an action that took place in a bedroom.
Well, we can have a discussion now on what the charges should be for cheating.
I thought that's what we've been doing for the last 25 minutes.
What do you think? So if somebody enters it, right, you have a business that you're working on, right? So if somebody were to breach a contract, should they go to jail?
If I wish to sue them, I would do so. I would not be charging them with...
And if they didn't pay the money that you sued them for, what would happen?
Then I would...
they would go to jail.
In theory, be able to seize assets if they have them.
So because they deceived you and misapplied your words and did all this other stuff, they would defraud you. You'd sue them, and if they didn't pay, they'd get put in handcuffs by the state and go to jail.
No, like Daryl said, I would proceed. I would have to pursue making myself whole, and that could be
place a lien against their property,
lien against their property, asset seizure, all these different
Same
things.
thing with Ian and his tenants there the other day when they wouldn't leave, right? So we were going to call the state to come in and remove them.
No, they called the state.
Who called the state? Well, Ian was going to call the police to remove them if they didn't leave by midnight,
They
right?
called the state to keep Ian from removing them from an agreement that they had made.
Exactly, but I'm saying agreements and contract enforcement is totally libertarian.
Let's go to the phone. We've got Michael calling in from Texas. Michael, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, fellas. I've got a personal story I'd like to share real quick and then see what Daryl specifically thinks about the issue. It kind of makes me feel like a hypocrite when I debate people about it because Okay, maybe 15 years ago, my wife was pregnant, and we had a baby that was going to be born with no skull on, no top portion of their skull, and the doctor said, the baby may be born dead, the baby may, may live a few hours, but the baby's not going to live. So we tried to go through all these alternate routes to try to donate organs from the baby and stuff, and no state would say, okay, yeah, we will, we'll find donors for the organs of your baby. They wouldn't agree to murder, as they put it, basically. That anyway. So my wife ended up having an abortion. This is 15 years ago, and I'm really opposed to people having an abortion. I do feel like it's murder, and I'm curious what the most principled libertarian that I can think of, thinks about this issue about abortion. When is it abortion? And
I think in a lot of cases it can be, and Michael, thank you for the call. I think in a lot of cases it can be murder. Fortunately, technology is moving in the direction to where you can put an unborn baby into an artificial womb. Hopefully that happens sooner rather than later, and then you can just remove the unborn child and still allow it to, be born and hopefully go up for adoption. This is Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary, I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions to that other site? I know you are. And I'm here to tell you about a great alternative to sell your stuff. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the best-selling site to ever come along. It doesn't matter what you're selling, big or small. It's easier than ever. And you can use Skype to show your items and get to know your potential buyer, and they can see that you are for real. No more blind trust. And you're not limited to snapshots. You can video what you're selling to better sell it fast. For as little as $9.95, and that's after a free 30 days, you can sell everything you no longer want with absolutely no fees, ever. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and become part of a community of buyers and sellers who have already discovered this revolutionary way of getting it sold online. That's BuySellMakeOffer.com. You'll never regret making the switch. BuySellMakeOffer.com. So, what are you waiting for?
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring Simon to the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. You ain't going to make it. Wait a minute.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love. But make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now to 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And if you like the show and you listen to the podcast version of the show, and we know that people listen to the podcast version of the show, if you've not left a rating and a review on iTunes or Stitcher or any of the other podcast aggregating site things like that, please do so. And make sure it's an honest review. Don't just give us 5 stars because we asked you to leave a rating and a review. And don't just give us 1 star, unless you actually think it's only 1 star. But really, if you're listening, you think it's higher than 1 star. So give honest rating, honest review, because the more ratings and reviews that we get, the more chances that other people will stumble upon the show and be exposed to the ideas of liberty. So please, leave us those ratings, leave us those reviews. Let's go to the phones. We've got Tom in Baltimore. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
So I normally don't have the opportunity to hear the Thursday show. I came in late today. I had a question about some conversations that were had, I guess, maybe as far back as a month ago.
All right. I can't say that I recall conversations from a month ago, but go ahead, ask the question, and hopefully either me, Chris, or Heather can answer the question.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to let you flounder. I'm going to build up to it and tell you exactly what I'm referring to, Daryl. Heather, by the way, the last time I heard the show, you were building quite a fan club, as I recall. So I think with your admission that you're single, you're probably going to add to those numbers significantly.
Right.
So you go, young lady. My sons are not married, so you're probably in their age group. I have to have them start listening to the show. I think you present well, by the way. I can see why you have quite the following.
Have them watch the YouTube feed. That's the best way.
You can find that at youtube.freetalklive.com.
A modem that can handle the feed for that, but I can download it. So I can see you guys after the fact. By the way, real quick, speaking of marriage contracts, in most societies, at least here in the U.S., it actually is a contract. If you'd like to avoid the state, which there's no reason to involve them in the marriage, you don't need 3 people in the marriage. 2 people, I think, is plenty. Then it would be a covenant. Yet, even with a covenant, although not legally enforceable necessarily, you could go to a court of equity, and that covenant would be looked at. If both of you agreed to have a judge hear the case, if you remember the old People's Court, Judge Wapner, he was empowered to hear those cases because the people who were coming to him, they were sworn and they pleaded the court to hear the case. That's actually what gave him the power to hear that. In the court of equity, it's all about what's fair. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick.
Good point.
But my question was this, relative to the guy Ricky, Commonwealth Ricky. He had quite an eerie conversation with you guys about being sworn as some type of probation officer.
Yeah.
And he said, and I wanted to know if he ever clarified this, I thought it really was eerie. He said he had a girl that he was responsible for legally, but she escaped for a while, and it took him a while to find her. And if you recall, there was a joke made about, Heather, I think you brought it up, you got a lot of laughs from it. You said, well, was she on a leash?
I called him out on it because I sensed there was something really creepy about it, and it seemed like at first nobody really wanted to say anything.
Do we know what county he's in Pennsylvania?
No, but yeah, I was just trying. I've always tried to imagine what court or what probation system allows probation officer. He made it sound like he was deputized to enforce the terms of a probation. Is that how you took it? It just didn't ring true to me.
There's a group of people in the United States. I don't necessarily disagree with their views, but you've heard of the corporate America and the organic constitutional United States of America. Well, the corporate America really kind of is a false overlay of the organic constitutional United States of America. United States of America, the organic version is in lowercase. It's the United States of America, not as one entity, but as the states being united.
Right.
Now, this particular group, they believe that they have the authority to deputize folks, to appoint judges, to hold courts, to issue writs and warrants. I'm wondering if Ricky is involved in something like that and working off of some type of idea that he's got some type of legal authority within a group such as that.
It's very likely, and if you listen to the way he always, makes reference to the Commonwealth, and it's not necessarily part of the rest of the United States, it's starting to make sense that he might be involved with one of those, for lack of a better term, a sovereign citizen type group.
Yeah, the one I think of when you talk about that is the Republic for the United States of America. Have you guys ever heard of that one?
I have.
Yeah, it's basically, it sets up a parallel government with its rules that they believe follow the Constitution, and should the need arise, they can instantly transition over and assume all roles within the government. So,
right.
Yeah.
The United States in all capital letters, they consider a fiction, and it actually is. It's like I said, I don't necessarily disagree with what they lay forth as their claims because they're pretty accurate in that regard. However, when you take extra-jurisdictional authority onto yourself or give it to yourself under those beliefs, you're really committing high crimes. In fact, he would be kidnapping regardless of how right he thinks he is.
Right.
He could be looking at life imprisonment if he's actually involved in those types of things. I was
idea
just
whether he really is.
That.
Yeah.
And next time he calls, I'll leave you with this. Maybe try to probe him and dig a little deeper.
No, I plan on it. I tried to. I don't know if you listened back. I was probing him pretty hard there.
Hold on. I can't hear both of you. Tom, continue.
I was just telling Ricky, if he's listening, don't be doing that extra jurisdictional, giving yourself authority under these groups, because you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Tom, thank you for the call. Heather, you were saying that you tried probing.
Yeah, well, last time he was on, I remember at first I thought it was like a joke, and then all of a sudden he made one comment, and I remember looking at Chris did that just come out the way I think it? It came out really creepy. He was. It almost sounded like he had this woman hostage, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, did you just say I can't remember exactly the words I used, but it did strike me as a really odd conversation and a little bit of cause for concern. I mean,
well, to be fair, every conversation with Ricky is a really odd conversation, and that's why.
But this one,
yeah, just the phrases he used, it was just pretty weird.
The way he described his relationship with her and her getting away and him finding her. I don't know.
And speaking of really weird conversations, Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm kind of bewildered that there's people that are against bad driving here in New Mexico.
Against bad driving?
I'm against bad driving. I don't think that there should be people driving badly.
Yeah, who's against it?
Well, and that's where they want like service announcement on the radio to remind people to slow down on the yellow and stop on the red and stop at the stop sign. It's comical to me. I mean, but you guys live over there. I'm talking about here in New Mexico. Why would people of New Mexico want a stop at the red light instead of running it at 50 miles an hour?
I'm usually trying to get somewhere.
Hold on. Did you ask why people actually stop at the red lights? I just want to make sure I heard your question correctly.
Well, over here, they run red lights all they want, and then they want a public service announcement to slow down at the yellow light. So they want like safe driving habits announced and reinforced. They actually hired two actors to remind people. So it's very bizarre to me because I got the idea that everybody in New Mexico likes reckless driving. And they love getting T-boned.
Not everybody. We know you do not.
Sarah, thank you for the call. Yep, as I suspected, very strange call. That's it for tonight. We will be back tomorrow, and we are always online at freetalklive.com. Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and